Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much. Now let's move away from Zimbabwe to Zambia now, where the country plans on holding detailed talks with China and other creditors as it tries to rebuild its economy after defaulting on its foreign debts in 2020. Last week, the executive board of the International Monetary Fund, IMF, approved a 3-year arrangement under the Extended Credit Facility, ECF, for Zambia in an amount equivalent to around 1.3 billion US dollars or 100% of quota.
According to the finance minister, Situmbeko Musokotwani, the IMF loan will help in getting them out of debt. Now, joining us live this morning from Lusaka, Zambia, is economist Dr. Lubinda Havazoka. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, and thank you very much for having me.
All right, the IMF says that the bailout package will help re-establish sustainability through fiscal adjustment and debt restructuring, and that the loan agreement will include passing of a new law that will make it harder for any future government to borrow in a reckless manner. What's your take and your thoughts on this?
Well, I think that from where we stand, an IMF package is really going to help Zambia restructure its debt with various lenders. We have seen a G20-led initiative to ensure that Zambia's debt service remains within sustainable levels. And I think that, when you have borrowers or lenders, from China, the Middle East, development banks across the globe, including even Africa, and you have Eurobond holders, commercial debt, for you to get some form of credibility in terms of debt restructuring. The IMF was forced as a mediator in this time. But when you look at economic development naturally, I think that looking at the conditions that have been released by the IMF, and they had to do that after a major public outcry to say what are the conditions. You can see that probably what we are going to be asked for after this does not really sit with the realities on the ground. First of all, when you look at the time when Zambia was borrowing this debt, it was anticipated that GDP would grow and Zambia would generate enough revenue to be able to repay the debt. But unfortunately, Zambia has been hit with droughts causing energy crisis from somewhere around 2014 to 2020. When we received no more rainfalls, COVID hit, and there was reduced demand in this area. Then Zambia also has an economy which is over 80% owned, by foreign, by foreign companies, and its mining sector, which provides 80% of foreign exchange inflows, is owned by foreigners. And this money, unlike other countries, this money is not banked in Zambia. Zambia is not a primary banking center for proceeds of, mineral sales. Unfortunately, every time the IMF comes, it comes with very good, measures, reduce borrowing, enact an act, do increase taxes, widen the tax base, enhance, efficiency in taxation. But they normally forget to address the major flaws in the structure of the Zambia's economy. Nothing has been said about how we should treat the mining industry, how the mining industry can help us provide forex to be able to service our debt, how the mining industry can be used to diversify the economy. Nothing of that sort has come in those conditions, and the government hasn't been put on spot to see how they can diversify the economy in that sense. That's why those that support the IMF package, it's true, it's going to help to bring some stability in terms of macroeconomic variables. But going forward, it offers no solution to Zambia's economic development agenda.
All right, I want us to, but I want us to, say or speak more concerning the IMF and China, because I'm sure you very well know that they are on separate, political leanings. I don't know if I can describe it as that. But are there fears, with regards borrowing from the IMF? Because there's people who would argue that, when you take these loans from these, from the International Monetary Fund, you're simply tying yourself, and there might be certain conditions, that make it really, a bad decision to take loans from the IMF. So are those fears, are they good enough concerns?
Well, I think that the concerns that various players have are very genuine, because when you look at the politics of the International Monetary Fund, definitely they sit on the opposite side with China. Even to bring China on board, I think China's thinking was that it didn't want to look to the rest of the world as that country that is careless in just lending out and doesn't want to negotiate. In fact, China has forgiven about $10 billion worth of debt across Africa, and Zambia, being one of the major recipients of Chinese debt, is going to benefit a significant amount from this. I think the worries and the concerns is that, one, when you look at infrastructure development across the continent, the last 10 years, you are going to find that the infrastructure has greatly developed in Zambia and other African countries, thanks to Chinese investment. So when the IMF comes, they're coming with Western influence, and they want things to be done the Western way.
Exactly.
Now, by the Western way, I mean they want your exchange rates to be stable, they want your fiscal or macroeconomic variables to be stable, but they don't care about the livelihood. They want to be giving you just handouts, which social spending, donor money to buy drugs and what. But I think Africa has outgrown that. If you look at even the amount of money that we are being given as $1.3 billion in a bailout, the mines make that amount in a month. In Zambia, the mining sector at the current prices has an output of about 10 billion US dollars. Of course, because of complexities in the accounting, and the fact that Zambia is not a primary banking sector, Zambia sees close to nothing from these amounts of money. Everything happens outside. So I think the concerns are very valid. It will be very difficult for Zambia, for example, to even embark on major projects going into the future, because we have literally surrendered our monetary and fiscal policy to the IMF, because they will have to approve each and every step that we want to go. I think that Africa at this stage, should have learned from experiences of the past and from what the IMF poses. At present, the IMF has been in Ghana for a long time, but when you look at economic issues, Ghana is still limping, and because also when the IMF comes in, they deny you that flexibility to improvise. So everything has to go by the scripts and by the conditions. So let's hope, for the best, while expecting the West.
What a way to wrap up. Thank you very much, Dr. Lubinda, for joining us this morning. We look forward to having you again.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.